Hi, I'm Lynette and welcome. Today I will be talking about 5 brands whose eyeshadow formula surprised me, and in a good way. The first brand I want to talk about is BH Cosmetics. I feel like a lot of people have been talking about BH Cosmetics because they too are surprised at how good their eyeshadow formula is. Now, up until the end of last year, I hadn't purchased any eyeshadow palettes from BH Cosmetics in years since I first started out with makeup. Actually, their big palettes were the first ones I bought when I got started in my makeup journey. So it's been a long time. Okay, it hasn't been that long, but it's been several years since I had tried any eyeshadow palettes from them. And they came out with the Sweet Shop collection, and I couldn't help myself, so I ended up buying the pistachio palette and the bubblegum palette, and I did tutorials with both of these palettes. And first of all, they're really beautiful monochromatic palettes, which are all the rage right now. Started mid last year and it hasn't died out yet. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. So not only did they put together really beautiful color stories, but the formula is really good too. Who knew? These metallics, hello. If you like metallic eyeshadows, you like the shimmer, you like the glitter, you like the shine, these metallics have you covered. They are pigmented, they are metallic, they are, oh, look at that. Do you see this? They are they are gorgeous. Look at that. You don't need to wet them. Oh my God. So yeah, I was really surprised. The last palette I purchased from BH Cosmetics, I think, was the Take Me to Brazil palette, the first one. And yeah, that pigmentation was nothing like this from what I remember. It was so long ago. But yeah, I really enjoyed these 2 palettes, and so much so that a palette that I had been wanting from BH for a really long time but never got because I was like, I don't know about the formula. I went on ahead and just bit the bullet and tried it, and it's the Zodiac palette. So you know, this palette is not new at all. It's been out for quite some time, but after having such a positive experience with the Sweet Shop palettes, I thought, why not go ahead and give this a shot? I wasn't too thrilled about the baked metallic formula in here because I worried that it wasn't going to be very good, but it is. This is a nice formula too. Now, is it as, right? I mean, not as pow as these, but still pretty, more subtle, softer, but still nice. I mean, these are the types of shimmers here that you can wear to work, you can wear every day, you know, you can wear out too. So very versatile, you know, if you don't want all of that. So yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised with the palettes, the formula in these palettes that I purchased from BH Cosmetics. And I'm hoping that they're going to continue on in this vein from here on out. So I'll be interested to see what else they come up with, what else they do next. And you know, who knows, if there's a good looking color story, I'll certainly be less hesitant to try it than I was before, now that I know what they're working with. Now, the next brand whose eyeshadow formula surprised me in a good way is Beauty Bay. Yeah, Beauty Bay. Beauty Bay has their own brand by Beauty Bay, and I had never purchased anything from them before. They sell other brands as well, but they also have their own, and I've never purchased anything from them, and I just went on ahead and did it because they had this palette here, the Bright Matte palette, for cheap. And look at this. I mean, hello, is this a rainbow dream right here? Is this a bright colored lover's dream? And so yeah, I said for the price, which was really cheap on sale, let me give it a try. And I really like it. Like, really like it. I've used it a few times now. I've done a colorful look. I did 2 neutral looks, and it's just the mattes. This is an all matte palette, and the mattes are just so soft and pigmented. I mean, who knew Beauty Bay was working with all this? I didn't. And yeah, really nice. So after working with this palette, I said, you know, let me try some more of the palettes. I picked up some of their smaller palettes too, and these have shimmers as well as mattes, and just really nice. Now the shimmers are not like what you saw with BH and those Sweet Shop palettes, but they're nice shimmers. Again, they're soft shimmers. They're shimmers you can wear every day as well as to go out in. Just a nice formula. I think what I appreciate so much about the Beauty Bay formula is it's easy. It's really easy to do a look with these shadows because the mattes blend, oh my god, the mattes blend like a freaking dream. Like a freaking dream. And yeah, they're just, I reach into these palettes and I'm able to do a look and be done with it. So I was really, look at that black. Look at the black. Like, I didn't know what to expect. You know, when you buy something, you buy a palette and it's really affordable and you're thinking, yeah, you know, I'm not expecting too much because, you know, you get what you pay for, right? If it's going to be so cheap, then the quality probably isn't going to be that great. But not in this case. If you've been thinking about ordering a palette from the Beauty Bay brand, I say go for it. I mean, they're like drugstore priced affordable palettes, and I think it's good quality. The next brand that surprised me, again, another brand that I had never purchased anything from, and it is Be Perfect Cosmetics. And I first purchased their Carnival XL palette. So they have 3 in a series of these Carnival palettes in collaboration with Stacey Marie, a makeup artist. And so this one was the first one I bought. Now, unlike Beauty Bay, these are a lot more expensive. So this is gonna cost you a little chunk of change. But, oh my goodness, the formula. I know I'm gonna be repeating myself here, but very easy to work with. Like, this is the kind of formula that if you're a beginner with eyeshadow, I really think this is a good formula for beginners. Pigmented, but blends easy. These mattes are easy to blend, and the metallics, again, easy to work with. I mean, what else do you want? What else do you want from eyeshadows, you know? So having really fallen in love with this palette, when they came out with the Carnival 3, I didn't hesitate. Well, I hesitated a little bit because, you know, it was expensive, but it's actually cheaper than the first one. But I went on ahead and I bought the Carnival 3 because I'm like, if the formula is going to be the same as in the Carnival XL, then I'm gonna love this palette too. And I'm happy to report that the shadows that I have used thus far in this palette, the formula is the same. And yeah, so Be Perfect Cosmetics is definitely a brand that's been on my radar ever since I picked up these two beauties. I don't know if Stacey Marie is going to be collaborating on a fourth palette with them. Probably, because I feel like these palettes have been very successful, and I will definitely be checking for it, because once you find an eyeshadow formula that works, I'm all for it. The fourth brand whose eyeshadow formula surprised me, and pleasantly so, is from a brand who I had never purchased any eyeshadows from, but I had prior experience, very little experience with it in the past, in the distant past, and it wasn't a good one. So I was really hesitant to try them again, especially since they're pretty pricey, and that brand is Sigma. And Sigma has been really, I feel like they've really been churning out the palettes of late. The first one that I tried from them in recent years, and very recently, was the Untamed palette. And the packaging, look how pretty. Packaging is pretty. The color stories, really, really, ooh, and you do get that Sigma brush, so that's always a plus. Really, really nice color stories. And the first time I tried any of their shadows, it was on like a blister card. And I used the shadows, and they were nice and they were easy to use, but they faded like almost immediately. So these palettes retail for $49, not cheap, and I don't want to be spending that kind of money on shadows that are going to fade within the hour. But I went on ahead and gave it a try, and I'm glad I did, because the formula is nice. Now, do I love it as much as these other brands that I just talked about? No, not so much, because the shimmers are just, you know, they're nice, but they're thin, they're very, very subtle. I mean, definitely good for beginners and good for people that like to do like an everyday look, who don't want a lot of pop-out on their eyes. So they've got you covered in that area. For me, I mean, I've used these shimmers dry, but to give them a little more punch, I prefer to use them wet. But you can use them dry, and they're pretty. Again, subtle, soft, but still pretty. And the mattes are pigmented and do blend as well. So upon purchasing this palette, the Untamed palette, I did go ahead and purchase two more. The Corte Rosa, which I had my eye on since day one, but you know, talked myself out of it. But went on ahead and did it, because after having a positive experience with the Untamed palette, I said, hey, if the formula is going to be consistent amongst all the palettes, then I'm going to go ahead and try it. The color story is absolutely beautiful. They've done some really nice color stories. They do a lot of neutral color stories, but the ones that have some color to them really appealed to me. And I used this palette recently, and again, enjoyed it. Same thoughts about it though. Shimmers, really, really soft, really, really subtle, really low key, but pretty. And this is the Enchanted palette. I love the packaging on these palettes, just so beautiful. Another cool tone palette, and another really interesting, very pretty color story. I think it's the color stories that probably draw me in more than the formula, but again, it's a nice formula. I've only used this once, and I did a really soft look that a lot of people liked. I posted it on Instagram. A lot of people liked it. So again, really, really soft and subtle for my taste, but nice. I mean, there are times when I want soft, I want subtlety. I want subtle, right? And maybe I want to go to work in eye makeup, and you know, this kind of formula I feel like is the kind of formula you can do that with. It won't be too bold, it won't be too much. So I can appreciate having both in my collection. So yeah, I'm really happy to see that Sigma has much improved, because these shadows were much longer than those initial shadows I tried years ago. I've had no problems with the staying power powder. I've had no problems with the staying power of these eyeshadows thus far. So yeah, if you were thinking about checking out anything from Sigma besides the brushes, you might want to check out the eyeshadow palettes. And then last but not least, the fifth and final brand that surprised me, LA Girl Cosmetics. LA Girl Cosmetics, you can find in the drugstore, you can find in Ulta, and I first purchased from them, probably more than a year ago now, their Hot Heat collection that they had. I think there were 2 palettes, maybe 3 in this collection, and this one is the Aloha Vibes palette. So this is the first one I purchased from them. And LA Girl, I think these retail for like $16. And the pan size is really pretty. First of all, the packaging is really pretty too. The pan sizes are large. You get a mirror and the color story. Beautiful. So for $16, you're getting quite a bit. I think it's 16 eyeshadows in here. So that's like, what, $1 each that you're paying for these eyeshadows. And so I wasn't expecting a whole lot. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, but I wasn't expecting like greatness. And it's not greatness, but it's really good. It's really good. Now they have different shimmer metallic formulas in their palettes. So some of them are really, really, really metallic. And then others, I still have those other swatches on my hand. Others, you know, not as, but look at that. These 2 right here, look at that gorgeousness, okay? And then the mattes are nice too. I mean, I used this palette. This was the first one that I bought. And then I just recently, because I had such a good experience with this palette, I recently picked up another one of their newer palettes. This is the Main Stage Desert Dream palette. So they've got a nice little theme going on here that I hope they will continue because I love the packaging. And then more beautiful, look at this color story, more beautiful eyeshadows. And I did a look with this palette that I absolutely loved. And again, easy to work with. Now this one has like a couple of pastel, look at this blue. You see that blue? And that blue is just as vibrant on the eye as it is in the pan. And now some of these are a little more pastel-y, so they don't have as much punch, but I was able to do a really, really nice look that I really, really liked with this palette. And then I got another one of their palettes in a giveaway, Natisha N's channel. I got this one in a giveaway, and it's one of these little 9-pan palettes that I also had my eye on. And again, did a nice, easy, neutral, subtle look with this palette. Didn't have any problems with the pigmentation or with the metallics. Eyeshadows, not, you know, bam, bam, boom in terms of the impact that you get, but you're able to do, I was able to do a really nice, soft look. And yeah, I mean, for drugstore prices, LA Girl, you gotta take a look at them because they doing something. They doing something in the drugstore. Let me know down below, what are some brands that surprised you when it came to the eyeshadow formula? And was it in a good way or was it in a bad way? If you liked this video, then please give it a like and consider subscribing because I do eyeshadow tutorials, makeup hauls, swatches, and reviews every Saturday. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.